A very good morning to everyone. Today is a special day, ladies and gentlemen, when we will be disseminating information regarding the new education policy 2020. The reforms in the education sector were long overdue, and keeping in mind the way in which the world is changing around us, it was imperative that our education system was also brought in sync with the changing times. There is a lot which has changed, and it is important that you, as parents, are made aware of these changes as the future of your child is at stake. What will follow is a detailed explanation of the salient features of NEP 2020 by a team of teachers from St. John's High School. We hope this session proves to be informative and beneficial for everyone. To set the ball rolling, may I request the coordinator of the senior school, Mrs. Vandana Bansal, to throw some light on the new education policy 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Gurmeet sir. The National Education Policy lays emphasis on the development of creative potential of each individual. The key purpose of and the vision of National Education Policy is to develop a deep-rooted Indian ethos in the education system and to provide the quality education to each and every student, and so that he can compete in the global world. The education is designed in such a way that we are preparing our kids in the global world. The curriculum and the method of practice of teaching is designed in such a way that it has got a sense of respect towards our fundamental duties and constitution. And for that, I think the teachers are the fundamental reform, are the center of the fundamental reform in the education system. The important vision, again, an important vision is that as a citizen of India, I think we should have a sense of pride and respect for our country, and that we have to instill in our kids. The next slide. And the key principles of NEP to discuss about. The first is respect for diversity and local context. Now, as a progressive school, I think we have already integrated everything in our curriculum planning. Talking about diversity and local context, we have got Eco Club, Heritage Club, and we are working with our partner state, that is Dadra and Nagar Haveli. The second point is equity and inclusion. Inclusion, where we have all the kids under our fold and we treat them equal, whether they are from economical and social disadvantaged group or they are CWSM. Community participation in St. John's, as you all know, parents, that we are working with our outreach partners. We are working with outreach partners which are mainly from GRID, that Institute of Visually Impaired, the transgender community, and so on. The fourth principle is use of technology. I think that it is proved the last whole year that the whole curriculum is designed in such a way that all classes are taken using the online method. The PPTs were made and sent to all of you. The next point is conceptual understanding. I think you will agree with me when I say that the emphasis in St. John's is activity-based learning, not the rote learning. And we recognize the next point, which emphasizes on unique capabilities. We emphasize on the capability of each and every individual, because we encourage them to take part in every activity which is happening in St. John's. The next point is CCT, that is a critical creative thinking. And as you all know that we are the Center for PISA, and we are preparing our kids for PISA. So you must have noticed that all the activities and assessment which we send, they carry CCT questions and reviews, the assessments, the examination, everything is done with your kids.
Thank you, Vandana ma'am. And now moving on. According to the National Education Policy, a formal structure has been given to the educational journey of a child. And starting from the bottom, we have the foundational stage. Now, this is further divided into two parts: 3 years of preschool or Anganwadi, followed by classes 1 and 2. Now, at this age, the educational system is more focused on activity-based and play-based learning. We all know that it is very important to trigger all the senses of our children if we want learning to happen, and that too at a good level. Moving on to the next stage is the preparatory stage. Now, students of classes 3 to 5 fall in this category, age 8 to 11 years. Now, at this stage, they are gradually introduced to subjects like, languages, physical education. They're introduced to speaking, writing, and listening. At this stage, there is an interactive form of education and learning that happens. Moving on to the third stage is the middle stage. Students of classes 6 to 8, age group of 11 to 14. At a very important stage, we also call it the transitional stage, because children, they come from a different system of schooling from junior school and they move to senior school. It's like graduation. And there are hormonal changes, the children are growing. So it's a very important stage where educators have to handhold their children and get them through the process of growth and learning. At this stage, children are introduced to more abstract concepts of various subjects like mathematics, science, social studies, etc. Moving on to the final stage, as mentioned by the National Education Policy, is the secondary stage, classes 9 to 12. Here, the children, as per the NEP, will be given choice amongst different subjects. Now, at this level, there is, a lot of depth and critical thinking involved. Children are introduced to interdisciplinary teaching and learning. So as far as NEP is concerned, these are the basic 4 categories mentioned related to the educational journey of a child. The next slide, please. The next slide, please. Thank you. Now, this slide talks about the shift to competency-based teaching, learning, and assessment. What is competency-based education? Well, it is a framework for teaching, learning, and assessment. It is also described as a type of education based on predetermined competencies, which focus on outcomes and real-world performance. And that is what we are preparing our children for. We have to ensure that our education, our teaching goes beyond textbooks. We have to prepare our children for the world out there. We have to make them the global citizens. And for that, for this competency-based teaching and learning, they have mentioned a certain key points. The first being promotion of critical and creative thinking based on the 21st century skills. What are the 21st century skills? the 4 C's: communication, creative thinking, critical thinking, collaboration, and then moving on to flexibility, technological literacy, information literacy, and media literacy. We have to ensure that our children are equipped with the necessary knowledge so that when they move out of the protective walls of the school, they are ready to take on the challenges of the world. Now, I'd like to share a few examples from St. John's itself. Well, there is a reason why they say that you can, in a crowd of 1,000 boys, see that there is a Johnian right there. Why? Because the amount of confidence and independence they show, they can be seen as unique individuals. Recently, we had our St. John's International Debate. Last year, we had to do it online because of the pandemic. And we thought of it as, if not impossible, quite a difficult task. But I must say, thanks to all our students, under the able guidance of our teachers, they managed an amazing task. The debate was a success. And that was basically, it's like giving our children an opportunity, a platform to display their skills and talents. We saw there were teams of boys. There was a team that was managing the speeches. There was another team managing the technical aspect. There was another team making sure there are no glitches. There was a continuous flow of internet and everything was in place. Seeing this, we understand that as a school, it is important to give them opportunities to express their talent. It is important to give them a platform to display their skills and talents. Also, if I have to give another example, you all are aware, and as Vandana ma'am has also mentioned, that we have outreach program in our school, community service program, right from KG up to class 12. Every class has its own outreach program. For example, the animal adoption program of KGs. For class 6, their association with the children from the Institute of Hearing Impaired, Vatika. Then we have children working with ALA, Animals Lovers Association. And as ma'am mentioned, the transgender community. So every class has its own outreach program. What does it teach our children? Well, a lot of skills, a lot of values like empathy, values like sharing is caring, skills like communication, organizational skills, time management. So again, these are examples of how a school can ensure that our children are equipped with the 21st century skills. Moving on to the next key feature of the competency-based education is tracking students' progress comprehensively and frequently. Well, it is very important for the growth of the child because having a continuous assessment and having a regular frequent assessment helps the child to get an insight into his own strengths. A child understands what is my area of strength, which are the areas that I need to improve in. Am I gifted? How can I help somebody with my talent? So an assessment helps a child to know himself better. And again, St. John's, if you look at it, our report cards have always been very reflective. We believe that it is not only a child's academics that needs to be reflected upon, but his holistic growth and development is equally important. For example, a child's attitudes and values towards his peers, his teachers, his school, his discipline, his participation in arts, co-curriculars, sports, everything. Because a child is a thinking being. And as per the competency-based education, literally if I say, they are trying to liberate education, they're trying to give education wings. And that is very, very crucial. And we are also trying to follow certain suggestions of the NEP as far as the report card is concerned. Already we are working on it. And there are various areas like multiple intelligences, which we are trying to incorporate in our report cards. Now, multiple intelligence is it's an umbrella term for a number of multiple intelligences. Like, some children are good at intrapersonal skills. Some children are good at spatial skills. Some are very good at science and mathematics. So based on a child's own talents, his interests, his skills will be assessed, which will help him to understand himself better and improve and be on a growth scale. Moving on to our last key point of competency-based education is designing tools and resources to acquire learning outcomes. Very important. I feel for a child, there's a question. If I'm learning this in my class, why am I learning it? What is the reason? Why should I do it? Well, the reason is for the teachers to explain, and that is only when we will be able to bring our classes alive. It is very important, it is imperative that we make our classrooms interactive. We let our children question us. We let them counter question us, give inputs, have discussions, have activity-based learning in your classroom where you have role plays, you can use the smart boards as teaching aids. All this helps a child to grow. A child is, I think every being is very visual. So if in a way a teacher is able to trigger all the senses of a child, the learning will be massive. Adding on to this, I'm sure a lot of you must have seen our very visual and creative PowerPoint presentations made by our teachers for different concepts and chapters. Now, the content was not restricted to the concept itself, but it was correlated. It was related to how this particular concept and its understanding can be used in real world, its applicability, how a particular concept can be related to a constitutional right, a fundamental duty, a UN sustainable goal, very important. Our children are global citizens. They need to be made aware and we need to empower them to make them global citizens, responsible citizens. They need to be aware of the UN sustainable goals. What are the problems being faced by the world? Because they are our torchbearers. They are the leaders of tomorrow and they are the ones who will make a difference. So we have to shape our children, shape our youth and make them ready for the world outside. And as per the national education policy, a lot of focus is on quality and not quantity. Quality is very important. They are discouraging rote learning because rote learning is not productive. It is more important for a child to understand the how, what, why of what he's doing. And with that, I would like to move on to the next slide.
Thank you, Nitika ma'am. Summarizing what Nitika ma'am has just said, the school stages are now divided into 5 years, plus 3 years, plus 3 years, and the last 4 years, meaning foundational stage, preparatory stage, middle stage, and the high school stage. Middle stage from classes 6 to 8, and high school from classes 9 to 12. Now, the high school has been clubbed along with the senior secondary school just to give children more exposure to subjects and enable more greater flexibility. Next slide, please. Curtailing dropout rates and ensuring universal access to education. This is especially important for students who belong to the socio-economically disadvantaged group. And here I'd like to mention that we at St. John's follow a very unique program known as the Foster Parenting Program, where each teacher is given 2 to 3 children belonging to the socio-economically disadvantaged group, and they are their mothers for their time in school, till the time that they graduate. That is one way. They ensure that these children who do not get enough family support are groomed mentally as well as physically in the school. Also, we have the mentorship program where we each teacher again is responsible for 10 students. So across the school, 10 students are under one mentor teacher, and she looks into their academics plus their co-curricular plus their any issues related to stress or anything that they wish to share. Also, on a more informal and a peer bonding system we have is the buddy system we have in each class. Each student is provided a companion, a buddy from his own class to enable them to bond, and especially important in the middle and the high school, where children, apart from the stress of studies, they also have a lot of stress related to their physical growing up, their hormonal changes, and other peer pressures that they face. So the buddy program is very important at that time. It provides them somebody to share their feelings and emotions with. The next slide, please. Now, the NLP focuses more on the competency-based education and an integration of subjects to encourage 21st century skills. There is an emphasis on skill development amongst the students. And here again, I'd like to mention that we always at St. John's collaborate and integrate our subjects. Our activities are integrated to include, let's say, for example, arts, sports, and that brings in a more skill development amongst the students. We also collaborate with community through our outreach programs. Our students, apart from academics, are also instilled with a moral ethics, which brings about an overall development of our children. Next slide, please. Yes, the NLP is basically focusing on the 21st century skills in the classroom. And parents, you'll be happy to note that our classrooms are well equipped. We have smart boards in each class. There are audio visual devices in the classroom, as well as cameras are available to encourage children to get their hands on the 21st century skills. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Deepinda ma'am, for the valuable inputs. The NEP is planning to introduce contemporary subjects which are relevant to today's day and time. They're looking at addressing not only physical well-being, but also mental health, which has been largely compromised by the pandemic. The Robotic Club of St. John's is already working in this direction, working on artificial intelligence, data science, and machine learning, including design thinking. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. The NEP is looking at a course in vocational crafts such as carpentry, electric work, metal work, gardening, and pottery. And they're looking at a well-defined course which is going to be year-long for classes 6 to 8. And they're going to be tapping local artists and craftsmen to strengthen this program. Next, please. Breathing a fresh breath into the NEP, the mathematics and computational thinking is going to be emphasized. And the innovative methods of learning are going to be introduced, which is a step away from the traditional rote learning. And in St. John's, every pursuit in academics is in this direction, which can be seen in the CCT worksheets, the crosswords, the puzzles, brain breaks, and many more such activities. Next, ma'am. A 10-day bagless period is being proposed by the National Education Policy. This is being done so that the boys can intern with the vocational training. So it's going to be a very big change for them, where they can actually enhance their vocational skills. And they're going to be liaising with carpenters, gardeners, potters, and artists. And this is going to be a tapping of the local artists and craftsmen, and the vocational training will also be made online. Next, please.
Thank you, Amarpreet ma'am. So now, dear parents, you have been enlightened about the mathematical and computational thinking and emphasis of NEP on vocational education. I will now be explaining you about the knowledge of India and its challenge with regard to the education, health, and environment. So, coming on to the tribal knowledge, we at St. John's kept it as a theme for our house shows way back. Competitions in schools for various topics and subjects through fun activity to be organized under the NEP. Well, which is already in place in the form of the various activities performed by the Eco Club, even the Heritage Day to give a deep insight of our Indian culture. Students to visit various states as part of the cultural exchange program and taken in care of this aspect under NEP. Johnians are already taken to the field trips to different states. For Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat initiative taken by the CBSE, our students visited Dadar and Nagar Haveli under the cultural exchange program. Now, moving on to the next slide. Health education has always been the integral part of our education system, which includes basic training in health, for which the Health and Wellness Committee is already at place, and designated teachers are the health assessors. Health tip in every morning assembly is a unique feature at St. John's. Regular health checkups of all the students are done, and record of the same is maintained in the form of a health card. Adding on to it, mental health and well-being are taken care by the professional team of the counselors at St. John's. The students were even benefited by them during the pandemic time of the COVID-19. Nutrition. Well, the special diet to SEDG is provided in our school as a kind gesture by our Johnians. We started on with the cornucopia, which helps the disadvantaged to be provided with the food. Not to miss, during the COVID time, the SEDG of our school was provided with the nutrition packets, which had rations for them as well as for their families. Personal and public hygiene and first aid. A special mention here about our gentleman Johnian who act as a health ambassador. Every class has a health ambassador on a rotational basis, which is responsible for maintaining first aid box and health corner of the class bulletin board. I am proud to share that St. John's was ranked platinum by the PGI for the school health accreditation. Next slide, please. The next slide is on the leveraging the power of multilingualism and language learning. As far as languages are concerned, NEP emphasis on mother tongue, home language, local language as medium of instruction, wherever possible, until at least grade 5, preferably till at least grade 8. The Languages of India, a fun project, activity in schools to familiarize with the diversity of languages in the country. For this, the Languages All the Way initiative is woven in the morning assemblies at St. John's, in which the students are taught different languages along with their translations in their known language. We have successfully managed to integrate the same in our curriculum by taking our partner state, DNH, and knowing about its language and culture. Sign language too is taught to our students, which is a vulnerable part of our outreach program. Let's move on to the next slide. It talks about NCFSE, that is the National Curriculum Framework for School Education and Textbook. The formulation of new and comprehensive National Curricular Framework for School Education 2020-21 will be undertaken by the NCERT. All textbooks shall aim to contain the essential core material. Wherever possible, schools and teachers will also have choices in the textbooks they employ, as if the CLIP program of our school at foundational level is going to be based on the basis of the NEP 2020. Next slide.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Now moving on with the transforming assessment for student development. The new education policy aims at shifting from rote memorization to more of competency-based learning. This can be accomplished by testing the high-order thinking skills of the students, which includes assessing or building up the creative and critical thinking along with conceptual clarity. In our school, the students are already in sync with this form of learning as they are made to solve challenging questions through Harshit and the CCT-based weekend challenges and initiative of our school. Moving on to the next slide, that is tracking student progress across school years. NEP 2020 focuses on continuous and comprehensive evaluation of students. It aims at achieving basic learning outcomes through assessment of core concepts and knowledge from the national and local curriculum, along with relevant higher order thinking skills and the application of knowledge in real life situations. All students in grades 3, 5, and 8 would be required to take school examination. Moving on to the next topic, that is redesigning of report cards. In this 21st century, according to the new system of learning, each school needs to redesign its report cards according to the new curriculum and for the holistic development of the student. This kind of a report card would help in forming an important link between the home and the school, and it would also involve the parents' contribution so that they can actively participate in their child's holistic education and development. The various aspects which have to be included in our report cards are the self-assessment and the peer assessment, teacher assessment, the projects based on inquiry-based learning, and the interactive questionnaires for parents, teachers, and students. And finally, regarding the guidelines for the assessment. Moving on to the next slide, that's guidelines for assessment. These guidelines will be prepared by the NCERT in collaboration with the Boards of Assessment and National Assessment Center for School Education. NEP 2020 aims at transforming the entire assessment system by the 2022-23 academic session to align with the National Curriculum Framework for School Education. Moving on to the next slide.
Thanks, Rakhi ma'am, for your inputs. Ladies and gentlemen, now I have the privilege of introducing to you the most important feature of the education policy, according to us, according to the ethos of St. John's High School, equitable and inclusion education, NEP 2020. I'll first look at the quote which is given there at the bottom. Inclusive, good quality education is a foundation for dynamic and equitable society. If we don't have equality in the society, then it can come back to us in a very, very dangerous form. Therefore, it is of prime importance that inequality in the society is brought down to reasonable levels. And you will agree with me that education is the single greatest tool for achieving social justice and equality. For a child coming from a challenged background, challenge of any sort, education is his biggest tool and biggest source of climbing those stairs of success. And NEP 2020 seeks to bridge gender and social category gaps at all levels of education. This is what we'll try to stress the next one or two slides. Next slide, please. A focus on socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Honestly speaking, at St. John's, this is something which we have been doing for the last so many years. We are addressing different inequalities in the society amongst the children and addressing them in our own way. The very first one talks about gender identities. I'd like to add equalities also to it. You must be wondering, how come an all boys school talks about gender equality? Well, it might be news to you, some of you, but since 2009, the call, the Golden Jubilee call of St. John's has been equality for women, women's empowerment. Our kids are sensitized towards this particular aspect of life, and they have been proving through journeys. Socio-cultural identities, as you can see all around us, if not dealt with at the grassroots level, they can wreak havoc on the society. Castes are an inherent and a sad reality of our lives in the Indian society. NEP will try to bridge that particular gap. Geographical identities. India is a vast country. We have maybe 29 states, it may be hundreds of languages, thousands of dialects, and they have to be bridged. It's a vast task, but we are at it. Disability is a very, very important part, which has come to its importance right now for the last couple of years. We at St. John's cater to this particular category in a very special, we call them special children, children with special needs. Socio-economic conditions. The last pandemic threw us a huge level of inequality. On one hand, we had the group of children who were well equipped with all the technology required for online or distance learning. But there were many kids, and at St. John's we catered to a number of them who were disadvantaged from this point of view. So we tried our level best to help them out. As mentioned earlier, we have a foster children program. We provided them with mobile phones where the mobile were not available, internet connectivity was an issue. So this is one of the prime thrusts to help these socio-economically disadvantaged groups. Because let me make it very clear, if they are not catered to, then perhaps the society will be ripped apart. And look at the categories. People from low-income households, children in vulnerable situations, victims of trafficking, orphans, child beggars on the streets, the urban poor. And I am again saying it without boasting, but with a great pride in my heart that we have already been working on it. Now, NEP 2020 takes it further. And there will be a number of strategies will be formulated to bridge this gap further. Next slide, please. How do we do it? Or what does NEP 2020 say regarding bridging of this particular gap? A gender inclusion fund is one of the first things, right? Increased participation of kids belonging to this particular category is very, very important. They have to be brought into mainstream. At St. John's, we are already catered to hundreds of kids. This will be expanded in a different way altogether. Teachers are at the task of identifying the learning disabilities of such children who have challenges, and they address them. More steps will be taken to ensure that this is done in a much more efficient manner. Special educators, and if he talks about special educators, we already have them in our school. Then there are a lot of other things which have been, as a matter of fact, most of the things given in NEP 2020, we are already working on it, and we now intend to push it further, of course, with your support and your suggestions. Students will be sensitized to this new school culture. Sensitization of kids is very, very, very important. Kids at times can be immature in handling inequalities. You must be seeing it around you. And this is what we do at the school. We try our best to tell the kids that all of us have been created by the same God. Therefore, they have to be well versed, and we need your support in this aspect, particularly parents. And human values like empathy, tolerance, human rights, gender equality, non-violence, citizenship, all have to be a part of the curriculum. They already are a part of our curriculum. Right? And as a matter of fact, as I mentioned earlier, sustainable development goals also bring about a lot of equality amongst the society. Now we move on to the next slide, please. This is another aspect of bringing about social, educational, economic equality in the society, ladies and gentlemen. We know it's a harsh reality that disparity does exist. Government has come up with this new concept of school complexes, or as they are known as clusters, where the resources of well-resourced schools are shared with less advantaged schools. As you can see in the slides, every school is supposed to have adequate number of counselors, trained social workers, teachers, PBTC, look at the variety of subjects over there, ladies and gentlemen. Art, music, science, sports. Now, second point is very important in the concept of clusters. Adequate resources are shared. A number of schools come into a particular cluster. We have already been doing it. We have been sharing the knowledge of teachers, worksheets, resources have been shared. This helps to bridge that gap of gender and social inequality. A sense of community is built to overcome the isolation of teachers, students, and school. As a matter of fact, at St. John's, once again, we bring all our partner schools with whom we are partnering for social outreach programs to our functions, to our faiths, for example, and we try to sensitize our kids also, and we have to see the happiness and joy on the face of these kids when they join us. We are doing our bit to reduce the disparities in the society. Cooperation and support across the schools, which is very, very important, especially with the children with disabilities. As already mentioned, we are having our outreach programs with children from hearing impaired schools, from visually impaired schools, so on and so forth. This has been part of our ethos since long, for the last many years. It is very, very important for a growing child to know that he lives in a society which is full of all these disparities, and he has to bridge that gap. It starts from the school itself, ladies and gentlemen, and it has to be. And NEP 2020 brings a lot of stress on this. And I'm 100% sure that with your help and support, we'll try our best to bridge this gap and work on it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The NEP has brought in changes in the new curricula. It has laid more stress on experiential learning through the integration of subjects, giving freedom and flexibility to the students, especially in the senior school. And here I'd like to mention that maths now has two streams, the basic and the standard, right? Then it also has a reference of vocational courses. We at St. John's are already, from the past couple of years, following a vocational course known as Lend a Hand, as well as children hone their skills on computers as well. Then we have clubs to encourage talent and interests of the students, house shows and inter-school and intra-school events being part of these changes. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Vipinda ma'am. The National Education Policy aims to tap every child's area of interest, whereby he can pursue any activity which is close to his heart. At St. John's, these activities have been conducted throughout the academic year, be it the Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat, the CBSE Science Challenge, or the Reading Challenge, or the Expression Series. You'll be happy to know that these activities are not only being done by the students, but also by the teachers and parents. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we move on with one of our last aspects of this particular presentation, You as parents are one of the most important stakeholders in the whole process of teaching and learning environment. NEP 2020 lays a lot of stress on engagement with parents and community for a positive learning environment. This is going beyond the PTMs. This is going beyond different aspects of learning within the school. You have a very, very important role to play in the growth of your child. This is something which cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, taking it further, the parents will have a greater involvement as per the National Education Policy 2020. You'll be sensitized about your child's abilities and if he has any disability also. Now, home visits, the NEP 2020 says, if possible and necessary, but let me share with you, which has already been shared. We already have a foster parenting program where our teachers visit the homes of the foster children. In addition to keeping track of their academic improvement, we also look at if they need anything else, then we can take care of them. Now, thanks to your support, ladies and gentlemen, in the last pandemic, we were able to help a number of our kids and people from the society in providing them with necessary food, ration, books, because let me tell you, last year has been bad for a number of households, and we have been trying our best to help them out. Arranging workshops on parenting, which we are already doing on the junior school. Now, a child is exposed to a number of things beyond the school. He's exposed to, and last 1 year has brought forth the strong ill effects of overexposure, especially to the internet and the societal. At times, kids are victims of all sorts of abuses, substance abuse, sexual orientations, other. We'll be holding more workshops and working closely with parents whose children are suffering from these challenges in their lives. And a regular feedback will be shared with the kids. Now, when we have interactions with the parents, especially parents of children who are challenged in these aspects, we are counselors who are very much trained to deal with such cases. They provide them with all kind of assistance at home for learning. At times during the pandemic also again, and otherwise certain children who are indisposed, we help them out. Moreover, your increased participation in the school programs is also very much appreciated. We have also been holding seminars for parents, counseling sessions for parents, especially for kids. There are a number of kids who want to go abroad. We are trying to help. So your increased participation will add wings to this particular program. Now, PTMs are the norm in each and every school. We have to go beyond PTMs. And parents are an important pillar of our school. Then we, as mentioned over here, we organize specific events only for parents. There are two reasons for this. One is definitely to bring greater interaction. Secondly, to bring home the values of being close associates with their kids. And at times parents are busy, too busy with their own lives, own careers, that they are unable to give that much attention to the kids. These programs help bring the kids and the parents together. And definitely, you being an important stakeholder can help in the overall growth of your child. Last point, very, very important. Outreach program at St. John's is very strong across all the classes of the school. Parents have come forth. They have been helping us very, very strongly in this particular aspect. And we look at more cooperation from you on this particular point, because this will help your child to become more sensitive towards the challenges in the society. So that was from our side. Now for the concluding remarks, I'll request Nitika ma'am to deliver the vote of thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gurdeep sir. I'd like to say that we at St. John's are very proud of the fact, and as already mentioned by my worthy colleagues, that a number of suggestions made by the National Education Policy, a lot of them have already been incorporated in St. John's. And all this is possible. We are able to move on, move ahead, we are able to succeed because of the cooperation and collaboration. St. John's is not just an institution. It's an extended family of parents, students, teachers, and alumni, and also the community at large. So thank you for always supporting us. And the very fact that compassion lies at the heart of St. John's is just something that creates beauty in everything we do. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank our senior school coordinator, Vandana ma'am, my esteemed teachers, Gurmeet sir, Amarpreet ma'am, Pooja Sharda ma'am, Rakhi ma'am, and Dipinder ma'am for having conducted this orientation. A special vote of thanks to all our parents. Thank you for watching this orientation. And also thank you for your continuous support and cooperation. Nothing would be possible without you. Thank you once again. Happy learning.